Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you about Caldera, which is the new map being added to Call of Duty Warzone for the Pacific update. This map, as many of you already know, is set in the Pacific Islands during World War II, so it's very bright and colorful and good looking. And in today's video, what we're going to do is a full walkthrough, run around, and flyover of the map so you can see the fighter planes in action. There's not going to be any gameplay here in the traditional sense that I'm fighting people. I managed to get into a lobby really early last night and just walked around for like 2 hours trying to explore all the various locations and show off the cool things. So the video you're seeing today is me walking around the map filming things. And if you're playing Warzone Pacific during Season 1, you could always choose to support me by using my creator code DRIFTOR in the store for any microtransactions you want to purchase, thus making this video sponsored. I'm going to talk for a bit and have commentary, but then we're going to kick over to lo-fi music. So the map itself looks very good. It looks very big. I want to say that it's bigger than Verdansk, perhaps by a little bit, though the grid size is identical. At the very least, it's more dense than Verdansk, or since it's very bright, you can see a long way, it gives an impression of having a larger size. There's probably more overall terrain difference than in Verdansk. Verdansk had one hilly area, this one has several of them, and it has the giant mountain in the middle that overlooks all of everything. There's an incredible density of buildings. There's water that you can go into without immediately dying. You can't swim, but you can wade into water up to a certain depth. They've added mountable anti-aircraft weapons to tons of areas on the map, like gigantic like AA flat guns, because there's a bunch of fighter planes that you can just hop in and take off from on the airport. Now, you've seen these in the trailer, but they're actually really fast. You can cover some insane distance on the map. They're way faster than helicopters. You can shoot people out of the sky, out of the ground. They don't have a lot of health, so if you get hit by AA guns, or the AA truck, which is another vehicle you can get into, they probably won't last very long. Of note about the airplanes, there is a way to land them safely. On PC at least, you have to hit the spacebar, which is the air brake, and your landing gear will come out. And I do want to say on the airplanes that console players are going to have a massive advantage. Just the way the sticks work is so much better than flying with the mouse and keyboard. The controls are not very good on PC. As I've been walking around the map and flying around the map, you have almost certainly noticed the lighting. The lighting is extremely bright in Caldera, perhaps oppressively bright in Caldera, and I mean, it is... I had to adjust my monitor a little bit. Now, to be fair, I had my monitor and all my NVIDIA stuff set up to run regular Call of Duty Verdansk, which is dark and shadowy and has all these browns and grays in it. This map is bright. It is bright. It is punchy. It is green to the extreme. You're going to have difficulty seeing enemies because of sun rays coming in, and less so because they're sitting in shadows, and I think that's going to be a pleasant change of pace for most of you. Honestly, even most of the indoor areas I saw had better lighting. There were still some dark places, but for the most part, indoors is looking pretty good too. On the topic of areas that look good, if you want to see some of the coolest spots on the map, you should head to the capital area. In the capital, you have the capital buildings, you have the fancy resorts, you've got the lighthouse, you've got the scenic beach. This looks like it just jumped straight out of Far Cry 5 or 6 right into Call of Duty, and it is very aesthetically pleasing. It looks like kind of like the nice version of Havana, and I don't quite know why they went with this particular theme, but it's really cool anyway. The sub-base is a little bit underwhelming. I thought that the sub-base would be the same as the sub-base map from Call of Duty Vanguard multiplayer, because it has the same basic building shape and like layout and structure, but the inside has been gutted. It has a fraction of the density of playable space, of cover, of objects. When I went through there just once, I think there was only one submarine in the sub-base, and it just had like 2 pallets on to take cover behind. The sub-base was incredibly underwhelming and kind of boring. There are 2 places on the map to get airplanes. There is Airport, which is closer to the middle of the map, and that is a full airport with a nice paved runway. There's usually 3 or 4 planes there. There is a radar tower, a lot like Verdansk, but thankfully there's stairs where you can walk up there and not have to just play the elevator game until the end of time. In the, I want to say, northeast of the map, there's an area called Airstrip, which is a much smaller airport. It is literally like a dirt runway. It had 2 planes on it when I was there, and maybe 2 hangars, not a lot of cover, not a lot of space to take off or land, but it is a place that you can take off and land, and it gives you some free airplanes. The docks had a lot of interesting cover. I like that they had the sort of divot that I initially mistook for a new stadium going in because it changes the water levels. You can't control it, but it's just a nice feature because old docks were like that. Lots of neat stuff going on there. And then finally, I want to talk about Beachhead, which is, as we suspected, almost identical to a D-Day landing zone. The beachhead, I mean, I imagine they could run some really interesting custom games here and simulations and use this section of the map for regular Vanguard. But the beachhead is Omaha Beach. You can sit in the bunkers and just hose people down there in the beach. You can mount your MG42 and just go to town on people, or pretty much anything that you want to do there. It's pretty fun. So overall, I'm very happy about the new map. I like the way that it looks. I like the points of interest. I like the airplanes. I like the anti-aircraft truck. I like the overall interactability, and I think it's going to be fun. I mostly think it's going to be fun because it's going to be bright and you can see enemies instead of having to play hide and seek to find the dark corner McDougal's, but we'll see what the greater gaming community does with it. Guys, that's all for the talking part of this video. I've given you about 7 minutes of very basic opinion about the map, but I do have a lot of gameplay, so we're just going to kick it over to like some royalty-free lo-fi music or something like that, and I'm going to fly and walk and explore this map, and you can just get to see every little bit of area so that when you finally get to hop on in a day or two, you have an advantage because you know what everything looks like.